So, I want to talk to you about the vibration through the bars. And on a recent sort of 1,500 kilometre tour, I live in the Netherlands, and I went to the UK with a couple of Dutch friends. And I noticed that you do get some vibes at motorway speeds, so sort of 65, 75, that sort of zone, through the bars, through your hands, and through the pegs a little bit too. But the pegs, you can move your feet around a little bit and you can get over that. It's not too bad. I mean, this is not major vibes. This is just sort of, you know, a buzz. But after a while, that buzz can get a bit much. So I have invested in the Progressive Handlebars SUP PHDS. And this is part number SXS0712520. They cost about €200, so I'm guessing about £165 UK, or a couple of $100 America. Come in this little box, and they do look very well made. I've had these out to have a little look at, and they're beautifully CNC'd. And they've got these sort of rubber grommets in between that will hopefully alleviate the vibration. So I'm going to have a go at seeing if I can fit them whilst you guys watch. It looks to be pretty easy. It should just be these 4 bolts. Take that off, and then inside there'll be another 2 bolts to remove the clamps. Replacing them is the same in reverse. I'm not totally sure what these bolts are for. They're probably the internal ones. And there's a longer one and a shorter one, depending on whether you use this little spacer. I don't think I'm going to fit the spacer. I don't have any problems with the position of the bars. So I'm probably just going to run it as is and assume that they're more or less going to be in the same position. The only thing I might do, probably not this time, but I might try, is there's actually 3 location holes for these bars, which you'll probably see in a moment when I take this off. So you can, if you're a tall rider, you can have the bars a little bit further away from you, and if you're a short rider, I guess you can have them a little closer. At the moment, I haven't really found it a problem, the position, so I'm going to leave it for the moment. So, as far as I can tell here, the only tool I'm going to need at this point is a Torx, and it's a T40, I believe. I've got a little ratchet with me. These bolts are not super tight at all, so I haven't got any way to torque them up later. So I'm just going to use my sensibilities and try and match them when I put them back together, and hopefully get the bar position back roughly how I was before. I'm not sure how easy this is going to be, how tricky, how many bits I'm going to drop on the floor. So that's one. Let's put those in my pocket, and then don't need to lose them. Very easy. I've just loosened them off and they've come out super easily. So hopefully I'm going to be able to just lift the bars off and rest them on the bike without them falling over. Let's have a little look. Maybe go, oh no, because you've got brake fluid, so you probably don't want to go upside down. Well, there we go. Now on to the next one. Now this is a bigger size. I do have a bigger size. I've got a 45 somewhere, so let me just go off camera and grab that. So hopefully that's going to fit. To be fair, you probably do get that in the tool kit that comes with the bike anyway. So these have got a little bit more torque on them. Yeah, that took a bit of effort to get that loose. I'm going to just put my foot on the wheel to give me some. There we go. Get an extension bar. So, yeah, you can feel that they've definitely got Loctite on them. You know, that sort of binding feeling when you're undoing a bolt for the first time. I don't think any of this kind of work is rocket science. I think most people can do these things at home. Of course, you can take your bike into the shop and have them do it. So that's off, and there is a little bit of Loctite on there. It's kind of sticky. And hopefully now you can see those 3 positions that these fit on. And interestingly, that's actually quite interesting. They're slightly offset, so you could turn them around and it's slightly further forward. You see that? Which means you've actually got 6 positions of adjustability with the original ones. That's actually quite interesting to see, because sometimes moving a tiny little bit on the bars can make all the difference to your riding. So that's quite fun, if you can see that. So if I spin that, it's actually offset. That's clever. Right, they're off. And let's see what we've got. Now, these are the same. So they're actually offset too. And so this could get fiddly. Let's get these off. I'll put them on my little bench. So there's a number of parts actually here. You've got your 2 bolts, obviously, which are now out. There's the top cap, which has got a couple of black grommets in there. You've got your 2 rubber, and then you've got a bottom plate and a piece inside, and they're also rubber inside, so there's quite a lot going on there. And as I can see, yeah, so to fit them I have to remove all of that, take my smaller bolt from the kit, and the fit is absolutely perfect. These bolts already come with Loctite ready, and interestingly, let's have a little look. So interestingly, well, I think it's mildly interesting. The original one's a Torx, and the one that comes in the kit is an Allen key. And to be honest with you, I think I'm going to just replace the original bolt back in. I don't see any reason why not, to be honest. I mean, it's longer. Let's have a little look. They would stick out almost exactly the same. There's probably 1 millimeter in it, so I think I'm just going to use the original ones. So yeah, let's pop that on there then. I mean, I could add some more Loctite, but I really don't see personally the need for it. I still got grip going in, definitely. You know, that takes some turning to the point where I'm actually going to just use the socket, the wrench. Now, they were pretty tight, so just rest my foot on the tyre. I'm going to take that extension bar off so I can get a bit of feel for it. It's aluminium, so interesting. It's still wobbling, so like that bolt is pretty tight, but oh, there we go, we're in. Yep, that's definitely in there. So let's try and remember. So this black bit goes in like there, that's it. And then this little plate held that there. So that's one ready. Let's get the next one ready. Let's whiz these little bolts out as we were before. Put them in the box. The top bit with the two rubbers, the silver bit and the black bit. Take my original bolt. Make sure it's the same way around as the first one, otherwise we won't be lining anything up. Just gonna double check, yep. Everything is looking dandy. Yeah, if you're into shiny things, I suppose they look cooler. And I think if you are into KTMs, you probably are into shiny things. I'll put that in my pocket. Right, now that is tight. Then we have the black piece, slides up through inside, and then this one goes on the top, either direction. Now this is where I think it's going to get trickier. So we've got all these parts that can just fall on the floor. Got to lift the bars back on. Place that over the top without losing anything. Get my bolts in. Just with my fingers, just try and wind them into the threads a little way. That's not bad. Now the next one. Well, so far, it's actually been a relatively easy job. So far. Never speak too soon, as they say. Now, pockets full of tools. And I have got somewhere, there we go, a screwdriver end, which will help me wind them in. Just get them kind of almost a pinch, not quite. Let's wind that one back out a little bit. There we go. And then hopefully I should be able to line the bars up. There is still a visible mark. I doubt very much you'll be able to see that on the camera, but there is still a visible mark from the original ones, the original clamps. Now, thought it might get a bit trickier. There we go. Slightly to the right. Now, I am going to say that is almost there, somewhere there. Let's pinch it up. You want to try and get them to go on evenly. Yeah, that is going on very nicely indeed. And then just a quick sit on the bike. Just so I think that the bars need to come this way, back towards me. A little touch. So undo those, a little tweak. And then there we go, that's coming around now. I think I'll know it when the mirrors line up. So I'm getting good vibes about that position. I think that the reality is that I'll probably have to ride this around for 5 minutes and just see if it feels right, and if not, you'll have to tinker with it. But there we go, they're fitted now. And as I said in the beginning, these screws were not really particularly tight from the offset. So I'm not going to over tighten them. I don't have any torque settings, but bearing in mind there's now a rubber grommet in there, so you're never, all you're going to do is squash that grommet if you go really tight. I can see, I think you can just feel, quite clearly feel if it's right or wrong. So there we go. So they don't feel like they're moving about or anything like that. They're just as they were. Are they sitting higher than they were before? I would say yes, they are. I'd say they're about 5 millimeters more proud than they were on the original ones. So that will lift the bars up by 5 mil. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to notice that or not. Perhaps I am, because my arm's going to be ever so slightly up. But in reality, the position should be more or less the same. But bear in mind, I've still got lots of options. I can twist these ones around to make them go this way. I suspect that's like a half setting. So there's the 3 main settings and then there's 3 half settings. It's essentially 6 positions that I can move these around in now, and forward and backwards slightly as well. So there's lots to play with on the bars. And of course, every time you do that, the lever position changes. So then you'd have to move the levers. So I don't know what you're like when you ride your bike, but for me, I like everything to be just so. So I think I will notice pretty quickly if the bars need to rock forward or backwards just by how the levers feel. And I won't be able to tell that because I've got a track stand on the back at the moment, so the bike is lifted up at the back. So sitting here doing this is fine, but I'll have to go and ride it and come back. So to sum up, I am planning a ride to go to France from here, so it's going to be maybe couple of thousand kilometers. I fitted this new larger screen because I was getting wind buffeting, and I've now fitted these risers because I was getting the vibes. So hopefully in 2 or 3 weeks time, I'll be able to do another video and tell everybody whether this stopped the vibrations and this stopped the wind buffeting. Now, thanks for watching, and I hope you subscribe to me because I'm going to be doing lots of videos on the KTM 890 SMT, my experience with living